Yeah, this is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Let's go.
All right, big show today without Natalie, Sean.
Nah, just the boys getting it done this morning, Nathan.
Yep.
Actually, we do talk about what can go wrong in a practice class, prac class,
Yep.
which happens at schools quite a lot.
Yeah, from all those kids that got blown up in a science experiment. You shouldn't laugh. Some of them
I know, but it is,
very badly burnt.
You know what I mean?
Anyway, well, the parents start listening. Richard Bayliss, we speak to him about World Cup.
Yeah, he had some good stuff to say, actually.
Yeah.
And you actually tell us, and you'll be able to hear from a couple of guys from the UK, actually, who really start having a good time over in Qatar.
Yeah, we touched on other things like all the drones falling out of the Perth city sky. That was really funny. And then also there is something happening personally with me, and there's a reason why I can only go forward at the moment.
That is true.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
When I came in this morning, I thought, Nathan's not here. Normally he's here before everyone. I didn't see that your car was here, mate.
Something bad might be happening.
What?
I cut my car.
Yes.
Drove it over to see Mum and Dad on Sunday night to have some dinner. Left my house without a worry. Got to Mum and Dad's house. We had KFC. It was great. Zinger burger.
I was going to ask.
Had such a good time.
What did your dad have?
Zinger burger. We all got the same thing. Zinger burger.
Interesting.
A couple of hot and spicy boneless pieces as well. Large chips, extra salt. And a round of regular gravies. Because what else are you going to do?
That's it.
Even got some extra mayo on that burger too and a slice of cheese. Everything was coming up, Nathan.
You're living.
Spent some time with Mum and Dad. Then went to leave Karen up. Walked out the front. Mum and Dad come to wave me off as they normally do because they love me. And then I go sit in my car, turn my car on and go to put it in reverse. My car has decided that reverse is no longer a feature that I require.
It's just decided. Not anymore. I'm not backing up to anyone. That's it.
My car no longer reverses.
So how'd you get the car going? What did you do?
From Maylands to Karrinyup. I don't know what happened, and then from me parking. So I'm just like, you know when you just think, okay, it's just stuck.
Yeah.
Because I've got a manual, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm just like trying to get it in there and just everything I could do, and then I was hitting the side of it. I don't know. You just
grinding that
you
gear
just hit
stick,
things.
no.
You don't understand how engines work or whatever. You're just hitting things. No, it wouldn't slip into reverse. So then I was just like, oh my God, what do I do? So then Mum and Dad are at the front of the car pushing me down the driveway.
Is it a downhill driveway? Okay.
Slightly downhill. So anyway, I ended up swinging my car around. And forward, I can go forward.
Yep. No problem at all.
And you know what? Reverse is, you need it.
Okay, so
You don't think you do because we live in a world where we go forward, but you need it.
So you've got the 4 gears.
Yeah.
And normally you would push it down and
No,
then
I don't
go
need to
backwards.
push it down. Mine just goes in.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's a 2006 car, Sean.
Yeah.
You know, I think pushing down came in 2007. So, pretty bad. So anyway, so the next morning I had to quickly go to the shops, and then I was like, okay, well, because I pulled my car in, of course. So then I had to get out and push it myself to reverse it out.
Like Fred
so I'd go to
Flintstone.
the shop. So then I went to the shop quickly, and then I realised, wait there, how do I park?
Yes.
So then I had
Yep.
to find a bay where I could drive through the bay into the other bay, so I could drive out of the bay.
Going forward,
So that
yeah.
was a whole lot. And then I realised, okay, this is just, I'm living in a reversing world. I don't even realise. Reverse, you need it.
We all need it. We all need to
You
reverse.
need it.
Yeah.
So now I'm stuck. So I rang Automasters yesterday, and they can't fit me until Friday. And then I thought, well, at least what I can do is I can get a hire car. There is not a hire car available this entire week in the whole of City of Perth. There is no hire cars. What's happening? Where are people going? Like, it's the 22nd of November. Do you is there anything happening?
I'll get you one. But I understand this because the mining industry has taken so many cars, and all these cars have been shipped around all up north and that kind of stuff because people are flying in and out all over the place, and that's one of the reasons too.
No, let the miners drive trucks. So now I've taken Mum and Dad's car, and now Mum and Dad are driving Dad's van, which is very hard for Mum because Mum is she's got to get her hip done next year, so it's a bit hard for the old woman to get up into the van. So I was literally pushing her by a bum to get her up in the van. yesterday. It's not good. So now I'm like, oh God, what do I do?
Is it time?
Well, I think it's going to have to be time because I'm going to have to get the car fixed.
Yeah.
Because you cannot order a new car. It's going to be 20 weeks or something for you to get a new car nowadays.
There's a lot of actually no. There's shipments that have come in. You might be in a really good place to be able to get, but depending on which one you get.
Is this our friends at Melville Mazda?
Yeah, 100%. Hey, Greg, we're on to it.
Hey, Greg, where are you?
He'll save the day.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating. But it made me think of people when they have got something and one of their main functions aren't working, like reverse of a car. Some people's microwaves, the 3 button might not work.
What about the toaster? It's one of those things that always has a couple of. We've always had a 4 thing, but all of a sudden 2 are gone. And then you might just be left with being able to do one slice. They might all be gone at some point.
Or when you press the toaster down and you've got to hold it down because it doesn't click, and people just stand there with their finger there and hold the toaster down. It's time to stop putting off your trips and start celebrating summer with an amazing getaway.
Whatif.com has all kinds of accommodation options all around Oz.
Check him out on the What If app.
What if it's Aussie for travel? My car, the PT Cruiser 2006 model, has decided that reverse is no longer a feature that I require. So we are talking about when a feature or a function that is actually quite important decide to vacate your life. Hi, Ashley.
Hi guys, how you going?
Good, Ash. All right, what happened?
Well, it's probably about 15 years ago now when I was living in Melbourne, and my parents lived in Melbourne and I lived at Falls Creek in the ski area in Victoria.
Awesome.
And I came down to Melbourne to visit them, and as I was going back to Falls, it's about a 5-hour drive, the 5th gear in my little manual Nissan Pulsar, 87 Nissan Pulsar, decided that it didn't want to work.
Yeah.
So I had to hold it in 5th gear the whole way back to Falls Creek.
Hold it in?
5 hours.
5
I
hours?
had to hold the 5th gear the whole way.
How hard was that, Ashley? 5 hours.
It was pretty hectic, but
Yeah.
the little car, it was amazing. So then I get up to the mountain and it had just snowed. And so there was about a foot of fresh snow. So I was able to get my little Nissan Pulsar up through about a foot of fresh snow into the village and park my car. And that's where it stayed for the rest of the season.
Ashley, how sore was your arm by the time you got there?
Oh, it was pretty sore. It was pretty sore, but, I had good tunes going, so it just sort of blocked out the pain.
Go through.
Good tunes and a hand permanently on the gear stick. Sean's been there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ash. Denks is in Greenwood. Hey, Denks.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah,
Good,
great.
thanks.
All right, we've got another car one. What happened?
Another car one, yes. I'm actually feeling fuel up, and I'm feeling really naughty right now because I'm on the phone at the same time.
Oh, my God. We don't blow up.
Okay, I know. I'm trying not to. Okay. I'm running in.
Right.
I'm going to be paying. Okay, my story is not about me. It's about my sister, actually. She had some fantastic cars, and one of them, she used to drive, whenever she started, she actually would start it, and the key, the whole ignition would come out with the key.
Oh, okay, that's problematic.
But the car would still be running.
So she put the key in, and then when she go to pull the key out, the ignition would come out.
Yeah, the whole thing. But the car's still running, and she'd drive it, and the ignition would be out.
It's probably
And
concerning.
she had another one that she had to, her husband was a mechanic. So obviously, like they say, when you get a mechanic at home, he never works on his own cars.
Yeah.
But the other car she had was this old Holden, and she had to carry around a spanner because every time it wouldn't start, she had to hit something in the motor and then it'll start.
Yeah, the starter motor, that's
I
what you
tell
do.
you
You
what.
bang the starter motor and you can get it going.
It's the Fonz
Oh,
technique,
yeah.
isn't it? It's the Fonz technique. I did it with a washing machine one day. My washing machine wasn't working, and then I just hit it with a hammer, and then it started working. I was like, and I was that close to buying a new washing machine. It worked again for years.
You know, because it's going, I hope he doesn't do that again.
Yeah. Hey, Danks, did you actually pay then as well for your fuel? That was pretty amazing.
I am right now.
Right
You make sure you scan your rewards
As we
card.
speak.
I tell you what,
Look at me.
women can multitask
Okay.
like no other. Listen to her. She's telling a story on the radio. She got petrol. She's paying for it right now. She's buying 2 king-size Snicker bars because why
doubt.
wouldn't you? It's a bargain.
It's cheaper than one, in
Yeah.
fact.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We are discussing when a feature or a function has stopped working on something that you own, like my car over the weekend has decided that reverse is no longer required.
Very interesting. Katie's in Ashfield. G'day, Katie.
Hello, how you going, guys?
Good.
Good, Katie. Just going forward. That's all I can do. What's happened, Katie? What happened?
Mine's more of a stationary problem. So I'm a pretty avid gamer and have been since I was about 11.
Yeah.
And I have, I know, and I'm a girl. I have two monitors because I cannot have one. I just can't.
We got a guy that works here, Simon. Simon's got about 10 monitors in his room and just a gaming chair. Yeah.
I feel his.
Yeah, you feel same.
I feel the need. You need more than one.
Yeah, okay.
Three's great. Three's great, but two is what I have had. So I've got two monitors. One's on sort of to my left and forward, and then the other one's on my right. And when I'm gaming, I use my main one in front of me. Now I have my right hand screened as well because I can also. Depends on the game I'm playing, but I need the two monitors if I'm doing a game where I want a wider view, or I'm using my VR headset and stuff. So anyway, so I had this right hand monitor. A few years ago, I started getting these long, you've probably maybe seen it before, but these long lines that appear on your monitor that are kind of, it's basically, I think it's a broken down pixel at the top, and the lines kind of come down the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got this monitor, and a few years ago I got this line appear. I thought, maybe it's just a loose connection, so I fiddled with it, but it was still there, and then maybe a week later there was a second line, and then about, I don't know, a good couple of months later there was 4 lines, and I started counting them every time I'd boot my PC up. And in the end, there was more than like 25, 30 lines.
Yes.
And at this point, I'm thinking, oh, God, how long have I got? So after about, I'd say it was a good year of having these lines there, which is really annoying when you're playing like a first-person shooter or something because it can throw you off. But I dealt with it because, money's a thing.
Yep.
And so one day I turned it on, and the 2/3 of the right-hand side of my right-hand monitor were just pixeled lines with no ability to see beyond them at all.
So you had 1/3 of a screen?
I had 1/3 of a screen, correct. So, and I still do, by the way. I'm still sitting there like that. So I have to squish all of my. I'm a bit of a multitasker, like you said. And when I'm playing games on my left-hand monitor, I often have Netflix or Stan or Prime or whatever playing on the right-hand monitor. But I have to squish. I can't have anything full screen, so I have to squish everything into this tiny little kind of. I've got to, move my windows around so I can see the full window of what I'm looking at on the right-hand monitor.
Yes.
And it is a right pain in the backside, but I'm not going to go out and get another monitor at the moment. So that's what I'm living with.
You need another monitor. You need another
Yeah.
monitor. I'm going to say, Katie, I'm going to be bold enough to say I think you need 2 more monitors. Sure.
I reckon you're right. At least a couple of new monitors. By the way, Black Sale's coming up, Black Friday sales. Bring on.
All right. Well, there you go, Katie. Thank you so much. Let's go to Sean in Clarkson. Hello, Sean.
Hello, how you going?
Yeah,
Hey, Sean.
great. We're talking about when a function or a feature has stopped working. What happened with you?
It's a laundry issue for me. I've moved into a new place and I was just opening up the dryer that was still there and noticed a few magnets fell out. And I was like, what are those magnets for?
Yeah.
The magnets were actually holding the door in so the door would stay on.
Yeah.
So I've gone to turn the dryer on and it's not working. I'm thinking, what's wrong? You just turn a dial. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So I got my husband up and I was like, these magnets fell out. And he's like, what are the magnets for? I was like, I don't know. So I go and I put my 2 towels in.
Yeah.
And I turn it and then I realise I put the magnets back where I think they were.
Yeah.
And I hold the bottom of the door and then the dryer works.
Oh.
So if I want to dry anything, I have to stand in front of the dryer and hold the door in for anything to dry. And I haven't been patient enough to hold it for the whole,
Cycle.
hour or however long it's going to take.
Yeah.
And then I've gone to hook up my washing machine and the water pours out the front of the spindle of my washing machine cold tap.
Yes.
So I need to go to my friend's house now to wash my clothes and then just use an airer to dry all my clothes. So nothing is working in my laundry.
Sean, that's a whole thing. Those
you
magnets
just
are very
standing there. I
funny.
can just see you just standing there, just leaning against your dryer. That's brilliant. Okay.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean.
Sean,
Yes, friend.
do you miss the fireworks?
I reckon when I was younger, we used to go down there. It was mint. It was awesome. But obviously these days, they've completely changed it. It's all about the drones in the sky, Nath.
Yeah. That's a drone.
There it is.
So annoying. Remember that drone that flew up into my dining room window. I was minding my own business in my house, and then next minute I heard this sort of sound. I was like, what the hell is that? Next minute, a drone appears, and then like spotlights come on and just start filming me. And apparently it was doing it all around our apartment blocks.
What were you
They're
wearing?
intrusive little
What were you
bastards.
wearing in the main thing there?
I was just wearing a G-string and a tutu.
Oh, good. Thank God.
So nothing
They won't
embarrassing.
make much of that. That's good.
Nothing embarrassing at all. So the City of Perth drone shows.
Yeah, down at Elizabeth Quay.
Mate, that was so funny to hear what happened over the weekend. I'm sorry, I laughed. And it's not good for the drone company. So there were several devices spotted dive bombing into the Swan River during the show.
Yeah. Oh, another one.
They said 500 drones in the sky, one in 10. 1 in 10. They're worth $2,000 each.
Yes, they are. It's $100,000 worth of drones hit the deck. You'd be yelling out, hold formation! They're just dive bombing left, right and centre.
Josh, who owns Drone Sky Shows, he wasn't too happy with it.
We're looking into GPS interference to see what has gone wrong with those drones last night. Let's say I did cry a little bit last night. Try not to think about it. Look, I'll keep that information, but it was an expensive show last night for us.
Oh, that is nasty.
$100,000, and they've got to go back into the river to get the drones. I'm guessing they're not waterproof enough to salvage, but they've all got lithium batteries. So there's now environmental problems as well.
Yeah. They'll be fine once they get them out today or the next couple of days. But how would have it happened? Is someone like that's a lot of drones, right? That's a truckload. So someone could have jammed something, Nath?
Yeah, they reckon there was some GPS interference. I don't know how it works.
Yep.
And because also the drones, and then suddenly when they all started plopping out of the sky and hitting the water, all the drones, the whole show just started moving en masse back to the base. So everyone was sort of like watching it go past. But I don't know, there's something about, I understand why we don't do fireworks anymore. I understand the drone shows, but I just find there's something, I don't know. There's something about the city doing so many drone shows at the moment.
I agree.
I feel like it's their only solution to try and get people back in the city. It's like, let's do a drone show. Let's do a drone show. To me, it's akin of when your parents discover TikTok and then start flossing. And it's like, no.
You can't keep doing it is the answer.
You can't keep doing it. And also, apparently, they don't want to keep doing it either.
Yeah. I think that's the kicker there. The drones decided, no.
I tell you what, though, if they are waterproof, get a bloody snorkel and mask on today and hit the Swan River. $2,000 a pop. You'll be able to get $1,000 without cashies.
Oh, yeah. All day long.
Mate.
There you go.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Let's go back to school, Sean.
Yeah, love to.
Yep. We had many prac classes when we were growing up. We had home economics.
Yes. We had woodwork, metalwork was another one.
How are those classes? Do they still have woodwork and metalwork?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
How are those classes allowed? That's so dangerous. Especially with a bunch of idiot children around these tools.
Actually, I was with with kids from my son Ollie's year just the other day, and one parent was telling me they keep getting a notice from the school because their son gets told not to use a particular heavy duty stuff in woodwork, but he continues to do it because he thinks he knows better.
What did you have to make in yours in metalwork? We had to get a can of Coke and make a money box. That was one thing we had to do.
Oh, I can't remember exactly, but that sounds right. I do remember one kid a couple of years later, it might have been up to year 10, he made his own trailer, like a proper trailer to go in the back of his car.
There's always one. And he was there was always a real practical kid.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it wasn't this guy sitting next to you, no.
Yeah, but that kid you knew from birth, came out of his mother and built his own crib.
Yeah,
you know, that's sort of that situation. But I'm in Manly. The wind and a science experiment didn't go together when they were doing it outside. This science experiment is called the Black Snake. And it involves sodium bicarbonate, sugar, and methylated spirits. You put it all together, and then it forms this sort of black snake coming along. And then the wind came and blew the chemicals and fire all over 11 children and one teacher, and there was an explosion.
Well, it certainly was. One of the girls who was there in that classroom, she had a eye view or bird's eye view to what exactly happened.
It was really scary because we were laughing at first because someone's shirt got blown off, but then we realised that people were actually really badly hurt and it became really scary.
We were laughing at first because someone's shirt got blown. Boom! Well, they were too. Children sustained burns to upper body, chest, face and legs. A couple of them had to go to a bit more serious part of the hospital. That's a bad day for that science teacher though. That's a bad day. No. I remember in metalwork, it was metalwork or woodwork. One of the girls got her hair caught in the orbital drill. You know what's the drill that it goes, the one where you pull the lever and it goes down. Yep. Her hair got caught in that, and it got the biggest chunk got ripped out, and then no one there was hairnets and scrunchies up the wazoo after that day. Oh. Did anyone get seriously injured in any of yours?
I think people did some nails back in the day, but I'm just trying to think. It was all so dangerous. Even sewing class, everyone would always hurt themselves. What did we do sewing for? I don't know. I didn't even get that.
Well, none of us actually did it. We remember you got told to make some board shorts and you did what you could in class. So basically you just cut the pattern out and then you took it home and your mum did it. And then you brought it back in and you said, ta-da. They were a pair of Okinois.
Harry, did this hit the note for you?
Yeah, woodwork. I can't believe anyone survived that class. Mike Franzoni, full name, there you go. He would grab his apron, the lead, the thing you tie up of his apron, and he just decided to feed it into the buffer machine, and it's wrapped around, and he's literally stuck in this thing to his neck. I don't know how it didn't rip his head off.
I remember at home, so we had a science class, and then we were dissecting sheep's brains. And then our teacher, we had a substitute teacher at the time, and then she had to go off and do something. So then we ran over to home ec, and then we quickly, because I knew the home ec teacher, we said, "Oh, can we just do something quickly?" And we cooked up some of the brains with some garlic and stuff, and then took it back, and then we walked around and we offered people food, and then we made them eat sheep's brains. And back then that was hilarious.
Still is.
Yeah, some people got sick.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean in podcast form.
What can go wrong during a prac school lesson?
Yeah, no, we heard some great stories, and we're about to hear from Maria in Bayswater. Hi, Maria.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, Maria. All right, what class was it?
It was woodwork.
Okay, and what happened?
It was my son. It was last year. I get a phone call from him saying, "Oh, I've cut my finger." And I said, "How bad is it?" And he goes, "Oh, it's not that bad." So pick him up from school, rushed him to the hospital.
Yes.
He'd actually cut his pointer finger right on the knuckle, cut the tendon and nicked the bone, and he ended up having plastic surgery the next morning.
Yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you? Because you've got to get into it.
So wait, whereabouts? Show me, Sean.
The point of the finger.
So your pointer finger, just on the knuckle.
On the
side.
On the knuckle, and then and cut the tendon.
Cut the tendon and the bone. He just nicked the bone, so he was very lucky he didn't go straight through the bone.
Oh, what was he making?
Oh, God, I don't even know now.
That would have been my first question before his medical needs. When someone cuts their finger that badly at school, do the parents usually take them to the hospital, or does the school take care of that?
Well, he actually rang me, which was really, the teachers didn't even ring me.
What?
He rang me. So, yeah. So I was a little bit like, what the hell? And, yeah, so he said, I'll just ring my mum.
I'll just ring my mum? Okay, any teacher listening right now, if you can see the child's bone, you call the necessary people to fix that, and the mum. Do you think, as a parent, Sean? As a parent, Sean, what do you think?
Yep. Oh, yeah. The school should be able to handle it.
If you can see past their skin and you can see their bone, and it's not their teeth, then call an ambulance. There you go. Thanks, Maria. Let's go to Andy in Queen's Rock. Hey, Andy.
Hey, how you going?
Yeah, good, Andy. What did you get up to?
What class?
It was in metalwork, but back in the day we didn't have phones then, about 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And, my mate we were all messing around in the class. The teacher went out to class and my mate put the grinder on to mess around, the grinder on the desk.
Yep.
And someone shouted, "Teacher's coming back," so he turned it off and it didn't stop.
Yeah.
So he put his hand on it to stop it, and it took all the skin off the palm of his hand. They were all gone.
Oh!
You could see the skeleton in his hand.
You can see his skeleton.
So his palm and all his fingers and everything.
So, Andy, just to stop it because it wasn't stopping, he put his hand to grab the blade.
No, it was the grinder, the bench grinder.
Oh, the bench grinder.
The bench grinder, and then he's grabbed it, and then it's just grinded all of his flesh away until it hit bone.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, mate. These days, I mean, grinder exposes a lot of bone. But back then, that would have been more painful. That is disgusting. How was he, Andy, afterwards?
Oh, he had to have plastic surgery to redo all his hand up.
Well, because think about it, you've ground away all your flesh and everything. Like if you've gone down to, as Andy put it, his skeleton.
Yeah. Oh.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Well, now the World Cup's underway. Everyone will be tuning into SBS for the broadcast of this World Cup, which is absolutely outstanding. Richard Bayliss is part of the team there, and he joins us now. G'day, Richard.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Oh, fantastic, Richard. Must be great to be all over something that has no controversy attached to it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what controversy? It's all about the football, right? That's what FIFA say.
Oh,
that's what they're saying, yeah.
About the game and also not having a drink.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, a sports stadium, let's just talk about that quickly. An entire sports stadium and that one person's drinking a beer, that doesn't seem right.
I don't think it's ever happened.
You know what's weird is that, I mean, that's an Australian thing as well. We just expect the beers to be there at all times. In the UK, in the Premier League, that's actually what happens as well. You can get a beer, but only outside. You can't be inside the stadium with the beer. So, no, it goes back to, obviously fan trouble of decades and decades ago. It's just a thing. But I think people are used to it there. It's more, I think, the issue here is the fact that 2 days out after assurances were made, oh, no, you can get beers. Don't worry about it. The decision is reversed. And that's, I think, where people are really up in arms. Plus, of course, many of us just like a beer as well.
I tell you what, though, and these are people, everyone knew going there that this was going to be the situation. I think that maybe they thought they were getting faked out or whatever, but it's like when you RSVP to a wedding and then discover it's a dry wedding. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Well, I wouldn't be friends with those people. I don't think.
Hey, Richard, we've seen the action kick off in the last couple of nights, obviously the opening game between Qatar and Ecuador, but then last night we've got a lot of English obviously all around Australia. They would have been up watching that demolition of Iran.
Yeah, they would have been, and they'll be a little bit more vocal today as well, because strangely, I mean, England always go into the tournament thinking they're going to win it. They're singing it's coming home ad nauseum, but, the expectations have been a little bit lower going into this tournament, but they were unreal. They were really, really good against Iran. 6-2 winners. That's an obscene scoreline, and really they shouldn't have conceded the two they did. So, they've got amazing players. We know how big the Premier League is, how quality it is, but actually they showed it on the international stage in a way that they don't often do, England, despite the fact they made the semis last time. So all of a sudden you have to put them amongst the favourites, which for our English mates out there, they'll be a little bit annoying, I would say, over the next couple of days, but you know what, they've earned it because the team were very, very good.
Yeah, the other games that featured, obviously Wales coming back just in the last couple of minutes to be able to get the penalty to draw the US, but I always love watching the Netherlands playing. Everybody dressed in orange. They play with a bit of flair. They always get the job done. And I know it took a while against Senegal, but they'd have to be one of the teams that are always going to make that, quarterfinals, semi-finals.
Yeah, a little bit unheralded as well. They've come into this tournament. I mean, they've made the final 3 times without winning it. They are a chance of being, if anyone's going to win it for the first time, it's probably going to be them. And it took them a while, 2 late goals in the last 6 or 7 minutes. And they've got a great story too, because Louis van Gaal, their manager, who's now unbeaten in 16 games, he's really sick. He's been in a wheelchair on the pitch side on occasions. He's got a cancer. It's an aggressive cancer, and he's been around for a long, long time. And it's one of these stories. And in football and sport, we always know there is a story.
Yeah.
And maybe the story is him and the Dutch and finally winning a World Cup with a manager who's sick. So keep an eye out for that one. But they were very good in the 2-0 against Senegal.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
So what time's these games happening live? What's the first one here for Australia time?
So 9 p.m. Eastern at Sydney time, so not too bad. And if you've got a real football problem, which many of us do, you can push through 9 p.m., midnight, 3 a.m., 6 a.m. You need to pick your battles. Of course, the Socceroos tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Sydney time. So, maybe you sleep early, you get up later. But the beauty of SBS is, and these days, of course, is you can watch games on demand as you like.
Hey, so when maybe not this World Cup, but when there is a game happening and it's like 2 a.m. or whatever, are you up? And when you're up, are you like, do you have snacks? What happens? Or you just have breakfast? How do you start your day in that? Because it's a weird way to start a day.
2 in the morning.
Oh, look, it is so tricky. This is the first time SBS's studio hasn't been within the host country for quite a while, going back to probably Japan, Korea, 2002. So for us, we're actually in the Sydney studio. So we're waking up at 4 or 5 p.m. and pushing through all overnight. And to answer your question, basically we are eating the worst food possible. I'm trying to get out of the habit already.
Yeah.
It's sugar, it's caffeine, like you name it, it's just comfort food to get you through. You do what you got to do to get through, I think.
I think pizza, you need some pizza there.
Oh, you have to.
Have you been holding into some pizza? Give us the worst thing you've eaten.
I think, well, it's not that bad, but just snakes, just bulk snakes. Right?
Yeah, you were like an athlete on this, the emergency.
Just a bag of snakes alive. Is that what you've been holding into?
Well, give it time. We're 2 days into a tournament which goes for over a month. Like, I think by the end of it will be an absolute shell, but it'll be worth it.
Now, getting back to the game tonight, Richard, well, tomorrow morning we'll be able to see, which is Australia in action against France. I mean, how hard is that first up? I don't see that we're any chance, and I can't see with this lineup that we've got of us progressing outside of this round robin phase. I've heard the opposite from other people who say that the youthful and inexperience might be a thing that will be able to get us through.
Yeah, you know what? That's some of the most balanced analysis I've heard going into this. And I think it's understandable. We get to a World Cup, we get excited, we remember that we're Australians on the world stage, we should do really well at sport.
Yeah.
At football over the past couple of years, we're in a transitional phase. This is arguably the biggest challenge we've had going into a World Cup in this run of 5 straight appearances because our team is inexperienced. 17 of the 26 haven't been there before. And you can say that's an advantage. We're playing the world champions in France, and they've got 6 or 7 players out injured, but the players they do have still phenomenal. Their second strength 11 could probably still win a World Cup. So for us, this is in essence a free swing. No one will expect anything of us outside of ourselves potentially. We need to go there, not get hammered, and take a little bit of momentum in the performance into Tunisia and Denmark because, against France, realistically, if they turn it on, we will struggle big time. You just have to hope they don't turn up, which is possible because that's what France, on occasion do. But yeah, let's be real. This is a huge challenge tomorrow morning. If we can get anything from it, it'll be, let's not say miracle, let's not go into that territory, but it would be an unbelievable result for us.
Yeah, it would be.
Hey, Richard, I just want to get your opinion on one last thing, and that is on the One Love armband, right? And we know that England captain Harry Kane, he was going to be wearing it, and then at the last thing, FIFA said it's not official kit, and you're going to get yellow carded. Some people are saying that it would have been such a demonstration of respect towards the movement if he was to wear it and just get a yellow card straight away and then take it off as a sign of we're not backing down. What would you have done?
I agree with that sentiment. I think, for the 7 nations to turn around and agree, we don't want to risk sporting sanctions here. We're happy to pay a fine, but we don't want to get a yellow card. I think seeing a player get a yellow card, stand defiant to a FIFA who don't want those messages to be said would have been extremely powerful. And even if a player gets sent off, who cares? Honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, some of the bigger, broader messages that need to be got across by whether it's players, teams, whatever, is more important at the end of the day. So it's really disappointing, and I know for a lot of people around the world, the LGBTQ plus community, I think probably will feel a little bit abandoned. And actually, in addition to that, Belgium's away kit has sort of a rainbow motif in it and has the word love. FIFA have asked them or demanded that they not wear that kit or remove the word love from it. I mean, that is just...
Remove the word love. Isn't that disgusting? I cannot believe, Richard, that this is where they're holding a World Cup. It is unbelievable.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, the beauty of being a footballer with such a platform like Harry Kane, millions and millions of followers, is that you make a statement and you draw or you shine a spotlight on an issue and you do actually bring people together and make everybody feel a part of it, whereas this divisive kind of approach is obviously having the opposite effect, and it's just really disappointing for so many people.
Yeah, well, it just shows in the future, though, FIFA will be thinking twice because this has been so much backlash along the journey. Anyway, that said, we look forward, Richard, to seeing so much more coverage on SBS. You're doing a fine job. I hope you're able to get through these next 5 or so weeks, 6 weeks of action, just eating snakes and eating pizza and getting through with mad coffee. So we really appreciate your time.
That's it, boys. All the best. Enjoy it. We'll speak soon.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
We're just talking to Richard Bayliss about the World Cup.
Yeah, you come across something that I can't wait to hear.
It's on the TikTok.
Can't wait to hear.
So there's a couple of Pommy guys, and they were having a great time over there in Qatar at the World Cup. And they, of course, like everybody else, were out looking for some beer. because you can't find it.
You can't
there,
get
really.
it. No, not at the stadiums.
And anyway, they absolutely scored when a sheikh ended up picking them up in a car and took them on a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, last night we met one of the Sheikh's sons and he took us back to the palace and he showed us he had lions and everything. They made us so welcome. And look around you, it doesn't get any better than this.
Basically, we were obviously on a bit of a hunt for some beers and he was like, yeah, we saw beers. So we jumped into the back of his Toyota Land Cruiser, ended up at a big palace and we were in the back. He showed us his monkeys, his exotic birds. It was nuts.
Imagine just looking for a beer and ending up in a sheikh's palace, like petting exotic animals.
That's amazing. Couple of geezers having an absolute wild time. That's great.
Have you had a night where you've ended up somewhere that you never ever thought you would?
God, I'm trying to think about it, but it feels like this happens to me a lot. Yeah, in Fremantle there used to be some interesting scenarios after nightclubs where I'd end up in places, and one was one of the restaurants in the main strip of Freo used to have a full casino operating, like start from about 3 a.m.
Yeah.
It's
I
unbelievable.
went and did I did radio for like a hot second up in Cairns before I started permanently here at Nova. And anyway, I was I fell into with this the businessmen, you know what I mean? The guys that own the businesses in Cairns. And then they said, "Oh, we're going to have a great night tonight." And they took me to an industrial zone like Welshpool.
Yep.
And I was like, "Am I
going to get murdered?"
I thought I was going to get murdered. I thought this is a gay hate crime. They were going to kill me. And then we get out and we go into and we go past the fence or whatever, and there's just this like big like warehouse sort of thing. And then the roller door went up, and then as you get in there was a smaller building inside, and what they had done without any of their partners knowing was they built their own nightclub. And no one else except for the business people knew. So they built a nightclub within a warehouse in an industrial lot, and that's where they'd all go and hang out, and no one ever knew about it. How good was that?
That's mint.
Yeah. So anyway, Sean's looking for a warehouse in an industrial area. If anyone's got one cheap on the fly,
Yeah, maybe closer to me. Say Canning Vale would be good.
Yeah, I mean,
let us know.
You know, it's not going to be as impressive. I hear you just pitching a tent in there, but that's fine.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Sean.
Yes.
Yesterday was Monday.
It was.
Something happened. Did you watch it?
No, I thought it wasn't on until later in the night.
No.
When does the episode came out? Early, obviously.
Well, I watched it last night, so
Yeah.
maybe it might have. But
Okay.
Yellowstone is everything. Did you not watch the new episode?
No. I'm up to date until last night. Yeah.
I want to live on a ranch. I want to work on a ranch.
There's still a lot of people who haven't partaked in this, Nath, because I've mentioned it a lot over the weekend. Different people. What are you watching as a talking topic? And I say that, I might have to give that a go.
Oh my God, I don't know how. They reckon that it is the highest ratings for any TV show in America that isn't football. And they said that after it's announced in its 5th season, they said it's one of the only TV shows that is growing in viewership.
Wow.
Yeah, and the reason for it, right, Taylor Sheridan, they said that when he went into the pitch meeting for Yellowstone, he told the executives that he would have full creative control and none of the networks can say anything about it. All he said to them was, give me $90 to $100 million as the first season.
Yeah.
So that's about $150 million Australian. Give me $150 million. You don't get a say in it. I'm going to do what I want.
And someone backed him in.
And then they backed him in. Yeah.
Maybe we need to come in stronger when we come in ideas for this over here at Nova.
And we need to put ranch rules as well. On a ranch, murder's fine. You know what I mean? Intimidation's fine.
Yep.
Someone upsets you, you just take them to the train station. And if you know what Yellowstone is, you know what that means.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, if you haven't got onto it, check it out on Stan, everyone. It's awesome.
It's so good.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Over to the World Cup in Qatar to kick things off, and England began their campaign. There'll be so many West Aussies with English backgrounds watched this game this morning.
Yeah.
And England absolutely thrashed them, which was good news. But the game started interesting because there was a lot of political statements made between England and Iran, and obviously the England captain wanted to wear the rainbow armband because as the captain gets to wear one love, and that was hosed down by FIFA, who said if you wear that then you'll get a yellow card, and that could cost you playing in further games. So they decided to take the knee at the start of the game, which is it ends up being a good thing because the whole team does it, and the world audience gets to see that in the first place.
Some people are saying that the English captain could have still done it and just had a yellow card and then made a statement that way. But I mean, like, they're not even allowing journalists in there with a rainbow on their shirt. Like, I swear, over there, if the rainbow appears in the sky, do they shoot it with guns?
Down, mate. Shoot it down. Yeah.
Stop going up our sky!
Absolutely. Now, the Iranians themselves, they didn't sing the national anthem because they were protesting against their own government about, the way they treat people in their neck of the woods. So, a couple of statements to start things off. But at the end of the day, hopefully, moving forward, then FIFA will know that they cannot go down this track again because
they do it?
Because they got the money and the backhander, and that's the only reason they did it. No.
You guys talked about it yesterday. Budweiser. Was it Heineken?
Yeah. Budweiser.
Yeah, Budweiser. They wouldn't let us serve booze at the stadium.
The whole warehouse full of Terps, and it wasn't able to get used, even though they'd signed a contract with FIFA.
It's just a litany of things that are not conducive to holding this event.
Yep.
And yet they chose to do it. I know the guy who used to be in charge, who made the decision to have the World Cup in Qatar, he actually said it was a mistake now. But it's like, you would have known it was a mistake back then.
Yeah, well, they would have, but, money speaks all volumes.
But wouldn't everyone else have had their hands up as well? And
yeah, there was a lot of people, and I would have thought there would have been a lot of other countries who were prepared to play the brown paper bag game, but obviously the Qatarians were able to do that in a successful manner.
Well, anyway.
Maybe the gold bullion that they offered as well. I don't know. But anyway, the World Cup's off to a really good start in that manner. For Australia, though, we play France tomorrow morning, early our time. We always get the tough draws straight up, but playing France is going to be difficult. But our coach, Graham Arnold, he's relied on an old chestnut who got Australia going in 2005, and that's Aussie Gus Hiddink, who Australia just got right behind. He took over our team just before we started our campaign in Germany. And we got right through to the knockout stage and probably could have gone a bit further if it wasn't for a bit of a shonky red card that was given. But Graham Arnold saying with the help of Gus, he thinks he's got his head in the game.
I spoke to him only 4 days ago. He's been an incredible mentor for me since 2005. What I learned off Gus in 1 year would have taken me probably 10 years to learn on my own.
There you go.
Then again, you know what? What are our chances of beating France?
Everybody's saying we are absolutely zero. We're absolutely zero. We're less than zero, is what they're saying.
So do you reckon that maybe we get one of our team into their kit and just spray them with multicoloured rainbow colours?
Well, the French would be all about that because they're certainly a one-love country like us.
Oh, no, I get that. But like, you can take an armband off, but if your kit's all been sprayed like a rainbow, then you're going to play in it.
The locals are coming for you.
Everyone's getting a yellow card pretty quickly. Red card off.
Oh, the other thing would work, Nathan, if we did put a couple of guys in the blue shirts and they went out there and played for France and let a few goals in.
Yeah.
Just fell over at the wrong time, which we see in soccer quite often if the money's right.
Anyway,
it's going to be a big night for Australian sport. We'll see how we turn. It all works out. We're going to catch up still, though, a bit later on and dissect it with Richard Bayliss. He's covering the action for SBS.
Nice one.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.